Bangladesh is heading into one of its most consequential political seasons in recent years. The South Asian Nations Election Commission has announced the country's first national polls since the ouster of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina last August. The Election Commission has set February 12 as polling day, with campaigning scheduled to begin from January 22. The election will cover all 300 parliamentary seats. A national referendum on what Bangladesh's interim administration calls July Charter will be held on the same day as the voting. That's February 12, 2026. The Charter is a package of reforms proposed after Hasina's removal and will now be voted upon by people of Bangladesh.
The 13th general election and the referendum on the implementation of July National Charter constitutional reform will be held on February 12, 2026, in 300 seats. In this election process, we expect cordial participation and active cooperation of all political parties and rival candidates and of the voters. I urge all to play a historical role in our democratic journey by making the upcoming 13th National Parliament election a success.
The election announcement comes as Sheikh Hasina's Awami League remains banned from contesting the polls. The party has now forcefully rejected the election schedule. In a sharply worded statement, the Awami League called the Election Commission illegal and biased. They said it is impossible to ensure a fair and normal environment under the current interim authority. Awami League said excluding it from the electoral process will push the country into a deep crisis. The Awami League insisted that attempting to hold an election without the party that led the liberation war and without other major political forces amounts to denying the majority of Bangladesh's population a voice. The Awami League has laid out a series of demands before any election can be held. It says that all restrictions on its political activities must be lifted. All cases against Hasina and other leaders must be withdrawn. All political prisoners must be released, and the interim government must be replaced with a neutral caretaker administration, which must oversee a free, credible and participatory election. With 2 months to go for elections, Bangladesh is bracing for a high-stakes political confrontation. As the Election Commission moves ahead with its timeline and the Awami League refuses to recognize the process, Bangladesh faces a critical question. Can an election proceed when one of the country's biggest political forces rejects it entirely?
I was born into revolution. I inherited power like a crown. What I delivered was isolation. I built a personality cult that touched every home. Millions suffered hunger under my rule, but no one dared to speak. I ruled from palaces. My people queued for rice. I called myself the dear leader. History calls me something else, the dictator. Who am I?